On August the 9th, Russian shellings resulted in killing 2 civilians in Donetsk region, namely in Ocheretine township and in Shevchenkova village. Pavlo Kyrylenko, the head of the Donetsk Regional Military Administration, posted on his Telegram channel. 6 other people were wounded, he wrote. He added that it is now impossible to identify the accurate number of casualties in Mariupol and Volnovaha. In Bucha, they have buried 15 civilians, including 14 men and 1 woman, whose bodies were not identified. 8 men were found in Mirodske. They were tormented and shot down. They all have signs of tortures, wounds to their heads and chests, says Mikhailina Skoryk-Shkarivska, advisor to the Bucha mayor. If relatives do not claim bodies for 1 month, the local authorities have to bury them. In case relatives of the parish turn up, the graves will have plates with numbers. DNA test can identify kinship. At the investigator's permission, the relatives may change the plate or rebury the bodies. 16 fires broke out within 24 hours in the village of Tsyrkuny, Kharkiv district, as a result of shellings by the Russian army, says the daily report by the Regional Emergency Service of August the 10th. Detached houses were on fire, as well as utility facilities, garages and a shop, the report notes. In total, the Kharkiv region's firefighters extinguished 19 fires that occurred due to the bombardments. 2 other fires happened in Izumsky district and 1 in Chuhuivsky district. Tsyrkuny shelling wounded a woman aged 64. She is in a state of moderate severity, said Oleksiy Nehubov, the head of the Regional Military Administration, referring to information from the Regional Emergency Medicine Center. According to the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, over August the 9th, the Russians shelled at least 10 settlements in Kharkiv region from tanks and artillery. On the night of August the 10th, the Russian forces shelled Mykolaiv from Smerch MLRS. The shelling caused injuries to people and damage to residential buildings and infrastructure facilities, reports the Regional Military Administration. The blasts were heard at around 1:40 a.m. At 9:20 a.m. it was known of 8 detached houses damaged by the bombardment. 7 of them have windows, doors, roofs and facades damaged. Another house caught fire that destroyed the roof, slab and heat insulation. The fire was stopped by the firefighters, said City Mayor Alexander Sienkiewicz. Also, 4 residential houses suffered a power outage. According to the Regional Military Administration, at least 3 people were wounded, including a 13-year-old girl. Twice over August the 9th, the Russian barrages caused a large-scale blaze in the Halitsinivka forest near Mykolaiv, reported the Regional Emergency Service. 9 machines and 40 personnel were engaged in fighting the fire. According to Serhiy Halyavko, the head of the Operational Coordination Center of the headquarters of Mykolaiv Regional Emergency Service, the fire transferred from the woods to a nearby cottage settlement. There was a risk of ignition of cottages throughout the settlement and of an infrastructure facility. Fighting the fire was complicated by constant shellings, availability of undetonated munitions and a strong gust of wind, Mr. Halyavko told. Local residents were also involved in extinguishing the flames. The fire was stopped at 22:30 on the area of 15 hectares. At around 4 a.m. on August the 10th, the Russian military shelled Kushuhumska territorial community in Zaporizhia district, reported the community leader Volodymyr Sosunovsky. A lot of houses are damaged, some are absolutely ruined, he posted on his Facebook account. It is estimated that 1 woman was killed, 3 houses were destroyed and 30 were damaged. On the night of August the 10th, the Russian army launched 80 rockets from Grad systems on Nikopolsky district, causing human casualties, said Valentin Reznichenko, the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration. Marhanets and Murivska community came under fire. In Marhanets, 10 people were killed and 11 wounded. 10 of them are hospitalized, 7 being in a critical condition, he wrote. He mentioned 20 damaged apartment buildings in the city, the administrative service center, culture palace, a dormitory, 2 schools, the city council and several more administrative premises. The power line is cut off. A few thousands of residents have no electricity supply. Mr. Reznichenko also said that in Vyshchetarasivka village, Murivska community, a woman was killed due to a direct rocket hit in the house. Also, a couple were wounded. The woman is in a moderately severe condition and her husband is taking home treatment. 11 cottages and gas pipelines are damaged in the village. Close 8,000 of people are left without gas. Mr. Reznichenko later reported that 2 hospitalized persons died. Thus, the night attack on Dnipropetrovsk district took the lives of 13 peaceful residents and left 11 wounded, 5 of them in a critical condition. Hello, is mother alive? Yes, she is. How are you? Good, owing to you. On August the 1st, Dmytro Japarov, together with his parents and brother, and also his neighbor Tetiana and her son, attempted to evacuate from the invaded Kherson region to the territory controlled by Ukraine. They turned for help to a volunteer who had taken people to Kryvyi Rih more than one time. The 2 families with the volunteer and his girlfriend had just driven a kilometer from Starosilla village in Kherson region when their car was hit by a Russian shell. A rocket from a tank hit. The driver turned music on and he couldn't hear, and I saw it fly straight to us from the side of Alexandrivka. I started beating his shoulder. While he was turning to me, it was headed right to our fuel tank. It blasted so hard, we were all scattered. The blast took the lives of the volunteer and his girlfriend. Dmytro, his father, brother and neighbor's son were blown out of the car, and his mother and neighbor were blocked in the burning car. Dmytro had to rescue them by himself. I lifted half of the car without the roof and windows. I was in shock. I pulled out Tetiana, then my mom. My brother and dad lay on the road. They, the Russians, decided to shoot us dead from assault rifles. They fired from the distance. The bullets flew and rose the crushed stones. They fired 5-6 magazines at us. People driving by helped them leave the scene. On their way, the neighbor's son died. The 5 survivors were taken to hospital in Kryvyi Rih. A doctor says Dmytro was the luckiest. He had the lightest injuries. He had a combination trauma, both burns and fractures of face bones, chest injury, broken ribs on the right side, a closed craniocerebral injury, contusion, brain concussion, facial burns, burns of the right arm and right shin, also a hemorrhage in the left eye. Dmytro's father and neighbor Tetiana are in the same hospital in a critical condition. His mother and brother were transferred to the other hospital. They have severe burns on their bodies.